Today, we are tackling one of the biggest questions Torontonians are asking me right now. If you're moving back to the office at the end of 2025 or the beginning of 2026, should I be renting or should I buy near or in Toronto downtown? I will walk you through the real numbers, what a $1 million home actually costs you each month, and how that compares to renting, and how the latest interest rate cuts, return to office mandates, and immigration trends are shaping the market. By the end, you will know exactly what makes sense for you, renting or buying, all depending on your situation, and exactly why this is such a huge topic right now. Toronto is changing very fast. Bank of Canada just announced today they dropped the interest rate by a quarter. Companies like RBC, TD, Google, Shopify, and even Ontario's public sector are enforcing a return to office. And on top of that, we have immigration, we have temporary residents and international students, foreign workers. All those are still driving demand in the city. So if you are working downtown or you're commuting again and wondering if it's smarter for you to rent or buy, you are not alone. So let's run the numbers. So let's start with the buying right now. Imagine you are looking at a home in downtown Toronto for about $1 million, which is very realistic right now in this market. And it's right in the line with the average Greater Toronto area price, which is right now sitting at $978,000. And if you put down 20%, which comes to $200,000 of down payment, your mortgage will be then obviously $800,000. And at the current rates, and let's say your interest rate is 4.7, your monthly mortgage payment comes to roughly $4,600, but that's really not the whole story. You do have to add in property taxes, which on $1 million home comes to about $583 per month. You have to add insurance, $150 per month, maintenance and utilities, which come to about $1,550 per month. And let's add a little buffer for extras, let's say $200 per month. And that brings your total monthly cost to about $7,100 per month. And if we're talking about a family of 4 with 2 people working, that's split between the 2, that's roughly $3,550 per month for each. And now let's look at the renting scenario. If you were to rent the same type of property, comparable, a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom townhouse or a small house in downtown Toronto, rents would be roughly $5,500 per month right now. Add utilities and renter's insurance, and you are closer to $5,700 per month. Split between the two, that's about $2,850 each. So just on a monthly cost, renting is about $700 cheaper per person per month comparing to buying, and that's almost $5,800 saved per year each, which is pretty significant. But of course, money isn't the only factor here. Here is where things get interesting. You have to look at the flexibility versus equity. When you buy, you are building equity. Your mortgage payments slowly build ownership in that $1 million asset. Renting does not do that, but it gives you flexibility to move if your job changes or if the return to office becomes unbearable. Return to office pressure downtown, the demand is rising again. So if you are commuting 3 or 4 days a week, being near transit or your office might save you hours every single week. That convenience does add real value. Immigration and housing demand, as of we have about 7.1% of total Canada's population are permanent residents, students, temporary workers, and others. Most of them rent first. So the rental market is still competitive. If rents rise again, today's savings might shrink. Just like prices in Toronto are actually down quite a bit year over year, depending on obviously property type and area. Anywhere, the prices went actually dropped anywhere between 10.35% to approximately 3%, depends on the area, since last year. But if rates keep falling, demand could return, especially in condos and starter homes. Buying now might mean getting in before another climb. So, all right. So, what's the verdict here? If you are choosing between renting or buying in downtown this fall, here is how I would break it down. Renting makes more sense if you are just not sure you will stay put for more than 3 to 5 years and you want lower monthly costs, or you value flexibility because your job or personal life might shift. Right now, you are saving about $100 a month if you are a couple, compared to buying. And with rents actually dipping slightly this year, renting looks attractive in the short term. Buying makes more sense if you are committed to staying in Toronto for at least 5 to 7 years. You have got the down payment ready and you want to build equity long term. And yes, your monthly costs are higher. It's about $3,500 for each if you're a couple, and if you're alone, it's double, obviously, compared to $3,850 for renting. But you are investing into an asset. You are protecting yourself from rent hikes and potentially benefiting from future price growth if demand rebounds. So think of it kind of like this way. Renting is cheaper month to month and buying is a long-term wealth play. And kind of bottom line here, Bank of Canada now dropped the rates. Your cost of borrowing go down slightly, but for most buyer, the bigger decision is the lifestyle. Do you want the flexibility of renting, or do you want the stability and long-term equity of owning? Right now, in 2025, renting downtown is cheaper per month, but buying could set you up long-term, especially if interest rates trend down further and prices start climbing again. So would you rent or buy? If you're heading back to the office, drop your thoughts in the comment. I would love to hear your perspective. And if you found this video very helpful, don't forget to like, follow, and hit the bell for more Toronto real estate breakdowns. And make sure you share this video with a friend who is contemplating renting versus buying. And I will see you in the next video.